In this video, we're going to look at how to do a vlookup. In this example, I have some fictional student data on my right, including student ID, first name, last name, gender, class level, home state major, and extracurricular activity. My data actually only goes down about 30 rows, but we're going to pretend that there's thousands of them. And I want to be able to check data very quickly about that student without having to scroll through all of that information. So over here on the left-hand side, I've already kind of set up a place for me to put in my student ID and then to return that information. This actually reminds me a little bit of like going to the library and having them type in your library number and then, information about you pops up. So
Before we build the vlookup formula, we're going to add a couple more fields. So when we type in the student ID number, it'll return more than just the information on the major. So we're going to add the class level, the first name, and last name as well. And then we'll get started with our formula. All right, let's begin. We're going to start typing our formula now, our function, which is equals vlookup. And now we're going to select our search key. Our search key is the input data that our VLOOKUP is going to be searching for, which is our student ID, and that's going to be B3. The next section that we're going to be adding to this function is our range. Our range is where the function is looking for the information. So for this, we're going to select our range of D2 all the way down to the edge of the range, which is K31. The next section is the index. The index is which column am I going to be returning? So once I find this information, where is the result information going to live? And for us, this is going to be the 7th column. So we're going to be adding in 7 as our index. And then is sorted is how accurate do we want the results to be? If we want exact results, so either it matches perfectly or it doesn't, you're going to add the word false. Then you're going to close the parentheses and press enter. After we've added some information into student ID, you'll see that it returns the word major. Let's change the student ID and see what we get. And the student's major is physics. Let's go ahead and fill out the rest of these VLOOKUPs so we can get a more complete picture of our student based on the student ID. So for class level, same function. We're going to do vlookup. Our search key is again B3, which is where our student ID is going to be inputted. We're also going to select our range, which is B3, or sorry, D2 all the way down to K31. This time our index is 5 because we're looking for the results in the 5th column. And again, our sorted response is going to be false. So I added the vlookup function to the first and last name as well using index 2 and 3, and now I have a complete picture of a student information when I click in the student ID using vlookup.